What's up, mate? Welcome to the UFC. I mean, it must be a pretty fun feeling. I know you've done the Contender Series, but how does it feel going into your first official UFC fight?
Feels real good. This is what I've been working for my whole entire life, and making my UFC debut here in 3 days, it's a dream come true.
They talk about the UFC jitters, right? No, it feels different when you're in there, but the fact that you're fighting in the Apex again, which you've already done, do you think that gives you some sort of familiarity with the entire experience?
Fighting at the Apex at Contender Series was amazing. I loved everything about it, and I'm excited here again to be fighting at the Apex. I feel like it's going to feel the same exact way.
Do you think people look into that a bit too much, and actually, once you're in a cage punching a dude in the face, a fight's a fight, and it doesn't really matter the environment?
Right. People always ask me, like, how's the pressure going and stuff. For me, it's when that cage door is locked, all that stuff goes out the window for me. The lights, all that dims out, and all that I'm focused on is my opponent.
Speaking of your opponent, what do you make of him? He's been matched up against younger guys before, and he's done quite well against them. What do you make of Rodriguez's ability, and what do you think you can bring to the table to beat him?
My opponent's a tough guy, obviously. He has a good amount of UFC experience. He's beat some tough guys, but my pace, my pressure, and my game is going to break him.
Do you think the fact that he's got so much experience in the UFC kind of shows that the UFC matching you up with him this early on shows they have high hopes for you?
Yeah, he has, I think, 6 fights in the UFC now, and this is my debut. Usually people get a little easier matchups for the debut, but I can't tell you how excited I am for this one.
Was it rough not being able to celebrate the holidays as much as you'd like and having a fight in January?
Yeah, definitely. I miss Christmas, miss New Year's, but at the end, it's all worth it. My New Year starts on January 12th.
So you start off the year with a win. How many fights would you like to get in this year?
I like being very active. I'd love to have 4 fights, especially this being in January. It gives me a bunch of time to relax, recover after this fight, and get ready for the next one.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Austin, were you worried, or were you surprised that they matched you up with Christian?
When we got this opponent, I was actually very happy. I remember in the regional scene, this name came up, and it never happened because I'm pretty sure he just got signed. But making my debut against him, I'm actually happy about it.
There's so much. Do you feel the pressure with all of this hype that you have on you? But before you were even in the UFC, you had people calling you the best prospect in America. You have to come to the UFC. Now you're here. You still have all this hype. Like, is there any added pressure?
To be honest, not at all. Something about me is no matter what the media is saying, no matter how big someone's trying to hype me up, I think the reason I'm undefeated and keep continuing to beat these guys is because I throw all that out the window and I don't think about any of that.
How do you get your hand raised on Saturday?
I see myself finishing him either via TKO or rear naked choke at the end of the second or early third.
Good luck.
Thank you.
You're making your debut, but the odds makers have you as a pretty decent favorite as well. I don't know if you pay attention to that. Why do you think the odds makers have you so high compared to him when he's got all this UFC experience?
Right. If you go look at my regional scene fights, you go see who I fought. I fought nothing but tough guys. Literally since my debut, I was thrown to the wolves, and here I am 13 fights later, 13-0.
And this is the guy, when Raul Rosas Jr. was coming up, he met him, he was undefeated, and he was able to take him out. Do you see any parallels in that where they might be trying to throw you to him as well? And how do you make sure that doesn't happen?
Yeah, first off, honestly, a lot of people try to compare me to Raul. I'm nothing like him. I feel like my game's completely different. My IQ, my pace, my cardio, everything about me is different than Raul. And, I just feel like I'm a whole different fighter than him.
And so for the UFC fans that maybe haven't seen you fight, how would you describe your fight style?
I'll describe my fight style as just a crazy, relentless pace. Whether the fight's 15 minutes or 25 minutes, literally from that opening gate bell, I'm sprinting at you, and I won't stop.
And you're starting your first fight really early in January. What are the rest of the goals that you're setting for yourself this year?
My goal by the end of this year is to be ranked in that top 15 and crack that list.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Austin, hey. So again, we already spoke about you're making your debut, but you're making your debut with all this attention. You got the lights on you, the media's asking you questions, you got more media obligations. How are you handling that coming into your debut? And you're not like a 4 or 5 fight vet, you're just your first one.
Right, yeah, I'm just enjoying this all, you know. To me, just extra stuff, but I don't mind it, you know, just part of the game, part of the journey, and I knew this coming in here, so it's nothing really new.
Different than the regional scene, obviously. And so now, like, what's the coolest thing that you've experienced so far? Now you're like, you're officially a UFC fighter.
Right, honestly, it's all the staff over here. They treat you so well. Every single person around me is always trying to see what I need, and I really appreciate them.
All right, best of luck.
Thank you.